It's just waiting for a few people to turn up. We are live on Instagram and we're live in our Facebook group, Personal Trainers Connect. And also, we are live on the Personal Trainers Connect Facebook page as well. And we're just going to talk about equipment and going live, equipment for going live with. So, just basically lots of different stuff we can do. Hey, how are we doing? So we're just talking about equipment that you can use for going live. So if you've not started going live already, you want to have an idea about what equipment you need. So for first off, a phone. You can see here, I'm just doing this one with a phone, and this is the IG Live. I'm literally just putting in now what we're talking about. If you are watching this, please comment and put a like, share it if you think it's if you know anyone that might benefit from it. I'm just going to post that, and with that, I'm going to pin it so people know what I'm doing. So that's a good point, guys. Is if you're going live on Instagram, make sure you put a comment about what's happening and what you're doing, and then actually pin it to the top. If you do that, people then will, when they swipe over and they see that you're going live, they'll actually know what you're doing. So it's not just, oh, this guy's just talking about nothing. They'll know literally what you're going to be talking about, so they can actually start listening. And you don't generally, people will only hang around for a couple of seconds before they move on to the next one. So it's a good way of grabbing them and making them stay that little bit longer. Okay, so all right, next thing, guys. So first things first, really, is going live. You don't need much, okay? You only need a camera. Yeah. Now you can have a webcam. You can use a webcam like I've got here. If you're on Instagram, you can see it. I've just got a webcam set up. It's nice and easy. I've got a light, studio light. Any camera will do. You can see there. I've got a light. I've got here. I'm just using my webcam. Excuse the dust and stuff in the background. But you only need a camera. The most important thing with a camera is lighting. So you can see here, I've got a light. I've got a window here, a light here. If I turn those lights off, this bigger light off, you'll see it goes very dark. And then it doesn't look as good. It doesn't look great. One side of my face is shaded. The whole lighting completely messes the shot up. So you can get a light from TradeMe. You can get a light from Amazon, really cheap. I think that cost me maybe like $80. You can get LED ones. That's actually really hot. You can get an LED ring light now, which is really cheap. You can even buy, if you're doing Instagram lives, you can just do a little small one, a little small O-ring. I think I've got one here actually. Let me see. It actually broke my one. But you got like these little selfie lights that go around the top of your phone. So it would go around the phone like so, and a light would shine on it. And then that again makes your live look a lot better, because if you haven't got good lighting and someone switches over and they don't know what you're talking about, first off, you can see on my Facebook, I've got equipment for going live. On my Instagram, I've got equipment for going live. So people know what I'm talking about. So camera, again, it doesn't matter which one you use. I mentioned this in the book, little ebook that I put out. If you're using something like StreamYard that I'm using now, which is a platform, if you're using StreamYard, basically, this can only upload to Facebook in 70p, so 720p, sorry. So if you're using a platform like BeLive, StreamYard, they only uploads to Facebook in 70p, which means if you're doing it in 70p, it's not actually going to look that great. So for me, I don't know now. I know my internet's a bit poor, so I might not even be coming up very well on Facebook, which if I'm not, I apologize. I am trying to get my internet fixed. And if it is the case, I will just upload this as a separate video. But you don't need an amazing camera. Like I said, you can only upload to a certain amount if you're using certain platforms. So if you're using a 1080p camera like I am, then if you use something like StreamYard, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to upload anyway. But what I am going to get is a Blackmagic of what's on order, which is means that I can use my DSLR, which means then I can either do direct ones from say something like Wirecast or OBS, which are two different platforms you can use. You can then upload in like up to, I think you can do up to 4K, I think, on YouTube anyway. So if you're thinking about what cameras you need, what equipment you need, first thing you need is a light. Get your light set up. Once you've got your light set up, you are looking good. Yeah, you will look a lot better than if you didn't. If you, it's simple as that. A light can make or break your what people are viewing and make or break what your live looks like. Obviously, you need to know what you're talking about. So, I mean, I kind of jump around a little bit, but I do know what we're talking about. I'm not just jumping on a live stream just to talk about the weather or what I've done today. I'm talking about equipment that you need for going live. Now, if you are going live, and you haven't got a laptop, you're just using your phone, you will want some form of tripod. This is a Joby small tripod. You can see that here. It's got a little one. I do have a bigger one knocking around. This isn't a Joby. I think this actually is a Joby, this one. And then I've just got my little different types of, you can see there, it's a Joby, different types of stands. You need something to put it somewhere so that when you're talking, you're not shaking around, because no one wants to see something that's shaking. It just makes people put off, and they're more than likely going to stop watching the stream. So secondly, background. You can see my background's fairly clear. I have actually put my Massage Guns banner there on purpose. Hey, Michaela, how are we doing? Just hitting the Instagram live, IG live. I'm talking about equipment to go live. So if you fancy going live, Michaela, which I'm sure you will do at some point, especially when you do more marketing stuff, stuff that you need, good lighting. Just quickly touch over that. Good lighting. Doesn't matter what camera. If you're using something like StreamYard or BeLive, a streaming platform, most of them only upload to Facebook at 720p anyway, so it doesn't really matter what camera. And then obviously a good stand. Now I've got this Joby one. I've got a mini Joby. I've got a proper tripod as well. So you've got your lighting, you've got a camera. Again, you've got different. You can use your phone, you can use a webcam, you can use your camera on your laptop, or you can go all out and go DSLR. Again, DSLR, if you've got one, it'll probably cost you about $300 to $400 to get the capture card, which is a HDMI capture card, which then transports your data from your, yes, you definitely need one, okay, honestly, like $50, something like that, dirt cheap, really good. Go on Trade Me, you can probably get smaller ones for cheaper as well. You then, once you get your DSLR, you get a cable, goes to your capture card straight to your computer, and then you can use a DSLR, which hopefully by the end of the week or start of next week, I'll have one of them, which will make my lives so much better, especially when I do my podcast and stuff as well. So let's just go back to my notes quickly. Like I said, you need to have a plan of what you're talking about. If you haven't, it's not great. Okay, last thing, microphone. I knew I'd missed something out. Now I'm using my earpods for my Facebook one. I'm actually just got my my phones is just my microphone for my my phone and the IG Live. So again, you can use different things. You can use your earpods. You can use over ear. You can use a microphone. For instance, when I use my DSLR, I'll have my Rode Micro, which I'll use then, which will then give me a nice, really clear. And if I do stuff outside, then lives that are outside, which I might not do with because the setup's quite big. But if I did do that, it would then make it a little bit easier again and make sure that the wind doesn't sort of give that crackly wind noise, which is horrible. You don't want to hear one of them. So microphones, really easy. You don't really need much. Again, these earpods, any sort of earpods, AirPods, anything like that, really cheap. If you get a cheap ones, it doesn't really matter as long as you can hear through them and they stay in your ear. If you're a fitness professional, like most people are that I talk to, you want to be able to jump around, do burpees, jump around, jump squats, lunges, kick sits, all this sort of stuff with your earpods not falling out. If they keep falling out, you're not going to be able to. You're going to spend more time putting them in, rather than actually, doing the workout with them or coaching them. Podcasts, I've recorded nearly five podcasts now. I'm waiting until I've got about 7 podcasts, and then I'll be releasing a podcast. We're going to do like a competition for the podcast. So if you are keen about listening, the podcast is going to be mainly talking to new and young trainers rather than actual about fitness. We might do one around fitness and want to kind of get this one started. And if we do one, that'll be an Invigorate podcast, and I'll be just talking about sort of health, fitness, training, and whatnot. But first one will be solely mainly for personal trainers or fitness professionals. I mean, it will help anyone, but we're talking about kind of how we can stop trainers leaving the industry after the first sort of 3 to 6 months. And I think it's going to be very valuable for people, especially coming out of COVID, because people are going to need to know how they can build a sustainable business quickly, and they're going to listen to a lot of people who have done it in the past as well. So, guys, that is pretty much it. I just wanted to touch base and just go over them quickly. The most important things. Okay, cameras. You've got about 4 different levels. You've got your phone. You can use a webcam. You can use DSLR. You can use like your camera from your MacBook or whatever you've got. And then I'm just going to show Michaela, you didn't see it before. You can see here. So I've got a webcam here. I'm using StreamYard, which you can see here, and using StreamYard. I'm showing that on there. And I've got my light here. And if you're watching online, I've got my light. Look at that. I've got a mattress in the background there. See, guys, this is what happens. It looks like I'm all set up. And most people that you see going live will look like they've got the shit together, and will look like that they're doing loads of stuff. And that everything's really easy and everything. They've got everything set out. Now, if you to look at the behind, in front of the camera, it's actually, I've got a mattress over there. I've got 2 fans. I've got towels. I've got boxes on the floor. I've got all sorts. So it's not all, it doesn't look perfect, but from what people see, it is perfect. So on the back wall looks great, but if you look this side, it doesn't. So camera, we've gone through that. Lighting, make sure you get a good light. You need some form of studio lighting, LED lighting, or make sure you're outside. If you're doing dark work, if you're doing shots or lives and the actual visuals really poor, then people are probably not going to carry on watching. Again, I don't know what this is like on Facebook. I'm fingers crossed that my internet has been fixed. My internet is better and it's not all like pixelated. The next one after that then is basically you've got your microphone, earpods. You can use a Rode mic on your, if you're using a IG TV or whatever, IG Live, sorry, you might just use, or you've got 2 going on the go, you might just hey mate, how we doing, Sean? You might just do it like this from your phone, and then that's pretty much it. They're your main things, guys: lighting, sound, and then also know what you're going to talk about. This was all about it going live and equipment that you need. Again, you can start using just your phone, or you can go all the way up to going from that to a DSLR and a full rig with all the the extras, which could cost you up to you can go thousands and thousands of dollars. But you don't need that. You just need to get started, and you just need to use stuff. Now, if you are after what everything I've talked about, but in a PDF form, if you're on Facebook, have a look on Facebook. There's a link there on my last post. If you're on Instagram, have a look on my last post on Instagram, or go to the bio, and there's I'm going to be putting up a link there for an equipment checklist that you can use, and it just basically describes everything that I've just said. If you're after another one, which is called it's actually called the Real Fitness Influencers, people who you might want to follow to get the best fitness related, health and nutrition related information. Download that book as well. All right, guys, nice talking to you. I'll speak to you soon.